conduct of Mr. Edubwahi amounted to trading in influence or influence peddling, which is closely associated with corruption. He continues, there's no actual criminal prohibition of his act, in respect of which the OSP has a mandate to further act. And you just have to make reference to the OSP own regulations or acts. And then it continues subsequently to say that on that record, the special prosecutor directs the closure at this time of the investigation in respect of allegations of corruption, and then subsequently corruption-related offences involving Charles Edubwahi, contained in the investigative documentary titled Galamsey Economy, as published by Tiger IPI. The investigation may be reopened according to the OSP press release, showed the circumstances and further facts so dictate. It continues that the non-prohibition of most predicate acts of corruption and corruption-related offences engenders impunity as well as conducts and the erosion of democratic tenets, which spawn formidable hurdles in the fight against corruption, especially in the public sector. And if you look at all that the OSP is about in its act, the Special Prosecutor Act 2017 Act 959, you then will have to put this into perspective. So we'll be having Nana Komia, former minister, member of parliament, currently MD for the STC, and then also Sampi Yali, a former High Commissioner of Ghana to India. So we'll have a lot of issues to talk about right here. We're taking a break. When we come back, all these vexed issues right here on the show for you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In the first 2 years, your baby will experience amazing growth in so many ways. To fuel it, they need the right nutrition. With Cerelac, 1 bowl of goodness a day provides the wholesomeness of carefully selected grains and the yummy taste baby loves. Cerelac is fortified with Iron Plus, contributing to your child's nutritional needs. Cerelac. It's all good, Mom. This advert is FDA approved.
It's time to win big! Sir! From now to the end of December, win instant prizes whenever you buy 30 Ghana cedis or more of Gino or Promo Tomato Mix, Gino Curry and Gino Max. Simply dial *844*99#. The code from your coupon, followed by the hash key, and follow the instructions to redeem your prizes like TVs, phones, blenders, cloth, airtime, and an opportunity to win our grand prize of a whole kitchen makeover! A whole kitchen makeover! Yes, and keep buying for a surprise visit from us. Just buy, scratch, and win! And it's simple!
This advert is FDA approved.
Colgate Herbal is formulated from unique natural herbs to strengthen teeth and keep gums healthy. Try Colgate Herbal, scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you ready? The biggest bonus ever! Promotion with cool prizes and many other bonus offers. Support 24/7. 1xBet gives you more. Use promo code to get your biggest bonus.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Played responsibly, not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can be addictive.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chese na me ankasa me period na say problems wom. Ntina ma wo ho idea ma me. Papa chese na nya asem ketewa. Na me coin point no, mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro. Mo meduro me fire no. Ene ma won kura mienu. Kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba.
Head everything yourself.
Me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante. And then ko end point o mama nura and then the why dia watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you.
Of Akrobato.
Hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what che.
Okay.
A free bra wo di end point wa dance. Am me call here no. Me Johnson sema na enkoyie e person na maye mre nyina na magina sebe ma. Na me be fie for there. E ho na nyina jaresa.
You heard everything. I have secret. End point is my secret. End point homeopathic clinic. I'm free.
No, stop it, don't do it. No, please stop it, stop it. No. I poisoned him. I poisoned him.
I'm a drug addict.
The difference between a sinner and a saint is that the saint has a past and the sinner a future. There is a shoulder that does not discriminate, an ear that listens without a mouth, and a heart that listens with empathy. Here on Confessions, we believe that everyone has a story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And together with my seasoned guest, we make the conversation relevant for our lives today and the lessons therein. Confessions, the safe haven for all your secrets.
Confessions shows on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
MTN.
The race to be the new patriotic party flag bearer ends here.
Vice President, member showdown.
The showdown is on as the new patriotic party elects their presidential candidate on November 4.
Member showdown.
4 candidates, over 200,000 delegates, one massive title of flag bearer at stake, all on your election command center. Would it be the main showdown contenders in Kennedy Ahwene Japan and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia or Dr. Efriye Akoto will top all?
Who is more establishment than the grassroots? They have the power.
Or Francis Adainimo?
The party needs an unblemished and a unifying new face.
From the first cues, the first votes, the reactions, the analysis, context, the backstories, to when the final vote is counted. It will be all on your election command center on TV3 and 3FM 92.7 and across all our social media platforms all day on November 4.
Hey! What do you do with some cool $2,000? Okay. Here to Win game show is exactly what you need. It's the only game show where you are already rich before you begin to play. Every week, 2 lucky people stand the chance of winning money. All you have to do is go through some quizzes and fun games. Somebody from Peru is called Perusian. Whatever you say, you have to be proud because your family people are watching you. Somebody from Madagascar is called Malagasy. Correct!
Okay, let's go.
It's you that will tell me let's go. You are not even winning. Okay?
Hold the stand and jump fast.
Amazing.
Jump, go.
Ayikwe Ama. Be proud. First of all, is Ayikwe supposed to be a man or a woman? Put it on your forehead. Ayikwe. Be a part of this game show right here on TV3 and take home some cash. Come join us on Here to Win game show where you win it all. Hey, yo, mama. Hey, mama. Hey, yo, mama. Hey, mama. Here to win.
Here Dare to Win shows Saturdays at 8 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Kill It Insecticide Spray.
Gino Tomato Mix.
And again, we do encourage you, there's cash out, and as always, we have a couple of you on our streams. We have to also be grateful to our technical staff who make this possible. And Oliver Lawson is a lead producer, and then ably by co-producer Barbara. Barbara, good morning to you. Brenda seems to have lost the voice over the last 5 weeks, but we're praying that there will be speedy recovery for her. But subsequently also, we pray for the rest of the team, especially when it comes to the Media General TV3 Foundation Relief Fund, for which we're soliciting support. We'll also make sure that we put the various numbers on the screens for you, because the contributions and the collections for the relief items have not stopped. Indeed, it's not only those constituencies in the Volta region that have been affected. We have others in the Eastern region, those in the Northern region as well, and elsewhere. Kratchy West, and a number of them. The Roxy Nelson Depamako was talking to me the other day, and it didn't look good in this constituency as well. So the number for you to contribute to the 3 Foundation Relief Fund, the Media General 3 Foundation Relief Fund, is 05974331110. I can see a couple of people on my streams already. My great friend who lives in the UK, Money Need Money, Lion Need Lion, Bold to Defend Group, Benjamin Tete, Dubli, Viti. I want all of you to contribute. Please put the merchant line so that Money Need Money will be contributing. In Shraba, Keofuri, please be contributing to the Media General 3 Foundation Disaster Relief Fund. And Ebenezer Adama, I've seen you as well, and Brakweku. Please, the merchant line is 120494. Shaddai Adote, 120494 is the merchant number. And Nelson Kufia Kotia, please, the merchant number is 120494. And then we brought you many of you. And Hamza Maestro. I have Master Planner Kintampo as well. And all of you who are watching us from across the country, we're grateful. Today, Gilbert Bedo also says, good morning. Salam, good morning to you as well. Now, please make sure that you share so that we have the conversation. I have right here before me Ambassador Sampi Yali. He's also a lawyer by profession as well, has a certificate of practice, member of the GBA, the Distinguished Ghana Bar Association. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Well, great. So now let's take you through what the special prosecutor has also said, just by way of the recap. Then we'll come to all the issues. Nana Benyin Pratt. Hey, brother, what's in the name? As a greetings, Roland. Tomefa Edem Agbele. And then Larry Ibrahim, Abdul Rahim Mosca. Now, the special prosecutor is saying that if you take a look at, well, the actions undertaken or discovered in that expose by Tiger IPA led by Nazarene Yawanas involving a former deputy finance minister, but at the time, a minister of state at the Ministry of Finance, Charles Eduboahin, peddled on influence peddling. Now, that also, he said, also means that there are tinge of acts of corruption, but he cannot find or cite any law within the laws we have in our country related to corruption for which he could in any way be prosecuted. Now, if you take a look at the corruption-related offenses under Act 959, and this is the act that establishes the special prosecutor. You can make references to this: honestly receiving property based on what are some of the actions that could be investigated by the officer of the special prosecutor, and subsequently criminal proceedings started against such individuals. And you make reference to Section 146 of Act 29, that's the Criminal Offences Act, Act 29. You also find that extortion is also there, as it is in Act 29, Section 151. And then, of course, using public office for profit. And the special prosecutor also says, well, among all these, he can't find anything, which is true, because he has to act within the mandates of the act that establishes him. Corruption of and by public officer or juror, accepting or giving bribe to influence public officer or juror, corrupt promise by judicial officer or juror. If we have more, can we just put that on display? And then corrupt selection of juror, corruption, intimidation, and personation in respect of election, and then falsification of return of election or at election, and withholding of public money by public officer. And then if you look at the Procurement Act also, offenses related to procurement. Nice. Now let's come back to studio. Joining us also is Nana Akomia. Usually when somebody is called Akomia, Nana, you don't add Mr. So, Nana, how are you, sir? Mr. Akomia?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
Actually, you are right.
Certainly. Now, let's do a recall of what did Anas capture at all? Let's get an insight.
Top Ghanaian lawyer who gave us astute legal advice. He rightfully advised us to retain 75% control of the bank we wanted to set up and leave the remaining 25% for a local partner. Yet, none of them came close to the state minister, who's not only a public servant betraying public trust, but a top keeper of Ghana's purse, Charles Edubuahene, then the Deputy Minister for Finance.
Listen, I should explain to you for your own respect. It's not good for him to have every discussion with you outside. He says that it's also true to their royal way of having discussion with their guests. You will have discussion with him or her in the open, and then you will dive into a closed door. So that's what people like, as he said, out there are true. Basically, it's about the contracts, and then it's also about the money. So the money, we have not touched it there, but we wanted that one to be done there. So they have money, but sometimes how to control those money and all of that, you need to be careful. The West will tag you as supporting terrorists or being terrorists.
No, I totally understand. And you know, for me, it's not really about money. You know, I'm really committed to my country, and we want to see it grow. And we can only make it grow if we have investors like you. So, you know, of course, you know, we all like money, but that is not the main thing. The main thing is for development.
They say they have some money that they want to mobilize all of them, then put it into an account in Ghana. And he says that he wants all of
that. In that 60-minute video, as we played on Ghana Tonight, and as you know, Ghana Tonight is a TV program of the year. In just the weekend's DJ Award, the 27th in the edition, you'd also find that Anas decided to see whether there was a possibility the Minister of State could be influenced in any way. Or, it's an act of simulation, so it's an undercover reporting, so to speak. Not many people, and the special prosecutor does put that in perspective, not many people ascribe to it. Even us as journalists, not all of us ascribe to that mode of investigative reporting, baiting people, so to speak. But he did say that he would want to have a part, 200,000 being the sum, 40,000 also seeing 200,000 for you to be able to see the president, etc. And then he'll get a sum of the venture or undertaking, so to speak. I know this has been a matter of public debate. Mr. Akomia.
Nana Akomia.
Okay. Nana Komia, you respectfully, you take a look at what the special prosecutor has said. Influence peddling. We also know what the gentleman said on tape, etc. Who would you say was in the wrong? Not a special prosecutor. I mean, in terms of somebody who occupies public office and there's a certain simulation exercise you get caught on, etc.
Well, let me wish you a good morning and
good morning to you.
You've brought my boss here, so I have to be on my good behavior.
No, flow.
But you have to. He's my boss.
Okay.
And once a boss, always a boss.
All right.
Now, the issue is quite delicate. If we're talking about morality, I don't think there will be any dispute that there seems to be a certain morality shortfall. But if we're talking about legality, then obviously the law is not very clear about influence peddling. I mean, if somebody said, I can let you see Mr. Roland at TV3 to try and get you a job at TV3 and to introduce you to Roland, you have to do so and so for me. So the person is using their influence with you to procure an advantage for somebody. Morally, if you heard that your friend has gone to take money or some gift from an applicant for a job at TV3, and that when your friend came to speak to you and so on, it was because he had been influenced. Or if he even said to the person, if you give me 100 cedis, I can give it to Roland, and then Roland will facilitate you getting a job at TV3. Now, that didn't happen. But morally, you will be upset that a friend of yours will go and involve themselves in that transaction using your name. You'll be upset. But if they actually collected the money and didn't bring it to you, or even brought it to you, if he brought it to you, then you are also obviously an accomplice. But even they didn't bring it to you, but they actually collected the money, then some crime has been committed. So in this case, particular instance, which we are discussing, the proposal was put before the former minister. He sought to profit from the opportunity. He didn't set out to go and commit a crime, but the opportunity was presented, and he said, well, I can do so and so for you. I can let you go and see the vice president. I can let you go and see the president and so on. But in return, you have to do so for me. That was clearly captured on tape. But what we also did not happen was that the transaction did not follow through. For the transaction to be followed through, the money should have been paid to him, and he would have then been seen collecting the money. Then the legal case is stronger. But in this case, we don't have any evidence that the monies that he demanded to go and pay to the vice president, to go and invest in his own business, we don't have any evidence that those monies were paid. So the special prosecutor is saying that when you go by the law, technically, it will be difficult to establish that a crime was committed. There are ingredients in law that you need to prove that a crime has been committed. And obviously, those ingredients were not all present in this Edubua Ahine's case. That's why the special prosecutor is finding it difficult. And then he has suggested that going forward, we should provide in the laws. So he's going to introduce legislation for the consideration of Parliament that can tighten and make provision for influence peddling and so on and so forth. Because all of us were disappointed when we saw the video, where many people were upset that a person like that holding that office of trust would actually engage in that kind of discussion.
Do you know him personally?
Yes, I know him personally. So all of us were disappointed, and including other offices, other officials like the vice president and so on and so on. And if you remember, the vice president had to issue a statement expressing his disappointment at the behavior of the minister, and actually suggesting that it would be difficult for the minister to hold his position. I'm sure you remember that statement. So all of us were disappointed when we saw the tape. But moving on to criminal prosecution, the law is a different matter. It's a technical thing, and you need to establish that the ingredients to get a successful prosecution are present. Otherwise, you can get, you have egg on your face. There's a curious matter that occurred to me. Our good friend Nyantechi, the former
GFA president and lawyer.
I think it was the same circumstances, if I remember correctly. Same influence peddling, same promise to, and demands, which we saw on the tape. Was it by the same Tiger Eye?
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think the prosecution of Nyantechi has not been stopped.
No, he was only he decided not to become a GFA boss again.
No, I mean the prosecution.
Because he's not a public officer, so he rather is seeking a defamatory.
No, there's prosecution by the Attorney General.
Well, certainly,
maybe I'm mistaken.
But there was a reference to the CID, and subsequently some investigations were undertaken.
So there's no prosecution?
No.
There's no prosecution going on as we speak? Okay, then.
There's a case in court involving him and Tiger IPI, and that I do know.
Oh, okay. Not the Attorney General in
not that I'm
okay,
aware.
Because I was...
There's a civil case going on.
There's a civil case, okay. So I was wondering. So that is it. Going forward, we must tighten the laws so that clearly what is a moral issue can be given a certain relevance in law.
Okay.
So that is the position at the moment, as espoused by there are always viewpoints as to even the morality of the entrapment. People have the view that it is not ethical to entrap somebody, and that the person did not set out to go and commit a crime. And the intention was not to commit a crime. And then you go and present the person with an opportunity to commit a crime, and that you are entrapping the person. But the end result is that whether you were you did not set out to commit a crime and you were presented with the opportunity, you still must be able, a person in a position of trust.
Okay. Eduji says he's going through criminal prosecution.
Oh, really?
Who is going through criminal prosecution?
That's Kwesi Nyantechi.
Yeah, I thought so. So, curiously, it just occurred to me that what would then be the implication for that particular case? The
So it's the Republic versus Nyantechi and Abdullah Al-Hassan, who are the respondents.
Okay, so it will be interesting to see how this case, the kind of bearing that it will have on the Nyantechi case, but because it's the similar circumstances, and literally the same pattern that we want to see this person. Oh, I can do it. I can let you sit. I can, if you pay me some money and so on. In that case, it was the president. I think the president was so upset, you remember, and he referred the matter to him. And in this case, the matter was referred to the special prosecutor. So now that the special prosecutor is saying that the legal basis is not there, I wonder how this will have the impact it will have on the...
So if you look at the charges and then the history of the case, especially it says for there's conspiracy to commit crime, namely fraud by agent against both respondent, contrary to section 23(1), and then of course 1451A of the Criminal Offences Act.
So like I'm saying, people, and I'm sure you are aware, that there have been debate as to how appropriate it is to use entrapment, and that you would procure evidence, but you procured it in a way that is not ethical.
Do you think if Anas did the same thing, you will be entrapped?
We're not talking about me.
Okay.
But I'm saying your morality should stand, whether you are entrapped or not. For me, that is my view. Others feel that entrapment, as obviously happened in this Dubois-Hines case, is not ethical, and so the evidence should not be entertained. But like I'm saying, if you committed a crime or you showed a certain moral deficiency, whether you are entrapped or not, if holding a position of trust and the morality that is expected of that position, whether you are trapped and somebody comes to entrap you or not, you should be able to hold your morality.
The thing is that in criminal law, according to what the lawyers say, the lawyers say, there has to be some establishment of intent or something of the sort. And for a man holding public office, saying that he could ensure that somebody sees the president or the vice, and then an actual transaction could take place for which he is a beneficial, bona fide person. That is worrying.
Well, Roland, good morning. And let me say good morning to all your viewers and thank TV3 and Media Foundation for the good work.
Media General 3 Foundation.
For the good work you have done for the flood victims. As I was coming, I saw people still donating. And I will encourage people to do more because it doesn't appear that the problems are going to be abated soon. Roland, you see, in law, state organizations operate within the confines of their law. I have been reading the Office of State Prosecutors Act and the areas
Act 959.
Yes, the areas that should attract his attention and areas that should not attract his attention. And that's why I think you've been exhibiting part of that. Now, if you read the Act very well, this conduct does not per se fall within his jurisdiction, entrapment and other things. The Office of State Prosecutor, I believe, deals with corruption and corruption-related cases involving politically exposed persons. All right. So I was trying to find out why he came to those conclusions. The special prosecutor came to those conclusions. What are we dealing with here? We are dealing with 3 different principles of law. One is inducement, entrapment, and influence peddling. Right. Now, when you say entrapment, it's like there is a lot of armed robbery on the Takoradi Road. So the IGP decided that I will load a truck full of policemen, plain-clothed policemen, to be going about the road or even pretend that there's an accident or my car is faulty, just to attract the criminals to come out, and you then entrap them and prosecute them. You know, in that case, the IGP or the police is acting in a lawful capacity of trying to entrap criminals or people with criminal intentions. Now, entrapment is not a common issue that everybody can engage in. So if you look at the laws on entrapment, it is limited to law enforcement. Okay, it's limited to law enforcement. What I want to say is that I detest this practice of people or organizations taking it upon themselves and trapping people to conduct crime and then bringing it out.
You mean this sort of
This kind of
investigative?
yeah, it is not the best for a country. Because, for example, if I don't like Nana Kumia being my political enemy or whatever it is,
rival.
Okay.
Is your political enemy?
My rival. No, Nana can't be my enemy. No, he's my rival. Now, to destroy him, I can go into doing all this.
You go through all lengths.
All lengths. You know.
To entice him.
Nobody is a moral tower. Every human being, at a point in time, may break down.
I don't understand. You mean you would have been caught in the web?
No,
if I ask.
Wait, there are so many. He was not talking about the legality. I'll come to that. He's talking about morality. You understand? But here we're not dealing with morality.
True.
We are dealing with a state official going out and being set out to say that, oh, I want to bring a business into Ghana, into your country. This one, myself and Nana Kumia would readily take it up. And I know so. We'll take it up because for the purpose of bringing that industry to Ghana. But the intent comes in, of his criminality comes in, when he decided that as part of that effort, a certain percentage of that whole enterprise should come to me.
True.
You know, that case, you are using your office to profit yourself. Now, again, I have read that there was some $40,000 exchange. Was it actually paid or should not paid?
It was.
It was given.
You know, like the Kwesi Nyantakyi one, you see the exchange.
Yes. So if he had actually collected the money, you know, then his criminality begins from there.
But you know how they do it? They say use it to buy something. They don't say it's for you to use in starting.
Nana, if I send my niece to you, you are employing a state transport as a friend and a brother. Oh, I write a note. Nana, this is my daughter or my sister's daughter. I think that's the cultural relationship that we, oh, that's okay, Sam, I can do this or I cannot do that. Okay? That is the level of morality we are dealing with. But if the Nana Kumia goes beyond this and says that, Sam, to recruit your daughter, I want 4,000 cedis. That's where the correction starts. You understand what I'm saying? 4,000. And he indeed sent the girl to me to collect the 4,000. And in addition, maybe goes beyond the 4,000 and sleeps with her.
Are you saying that if he's offered the money, he should refuse it?
No, this one.
One second. The question should be, so I demand the 4,000.
Yes.
I make the demand.
Yes.
And I send your daughter to come and collect the money.
Yes.
But if the money is not paid.
If the money is paid, it's another matter.
If the money is not paid.
But in this instance.
You tell me, well, I'm not going to pay bribe to my friend.
So no crime has been committed.
Yeah, I'm saying that should be the question. So
what
happens in that situation?
In that case, no crime has been committed.
Because the intent was there.
Well, but intention alone is not a crime.
But I'm saying the intent.
You need to intend and also to act.
Commit.
You see, in criminal law, we deal with the intention, that is the mens rea, and actus reus, that is the action. So if there's no coincidence between intention and action, nothing happens. Okay. Now, I am wondering why, as a country, we are allowing non-state organizations into an area of purely criminal law.
You mean non-state actors undertaking?
Yes.
And herein you're referring to?
Tiger, I, and the rest.
You mean private investigative?
Private investigative. Have they been?
It is allowed in the US, except we say our democracy is like the UK and the US.
But that finds space in their criminal law. Whatever the US people are doing, it finds space in their criminal law. In this country, if you induce me to commit a crime, you will not only be charged with aiding and abetment, but you will also be an accomplice. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nana comes to my house, oh, Nana, let's go and do this. Nana knows that, oh, it's not good for us to do it. The two of us go to do it. I, who induced Nana to do it, and Nana, who also took part, we are all guilty of the law.
So you mean in this case, Tiger Eye would also have been an accomplice?
Accomplice.
If the money had actually been paid.
Paid. That is the law.
The special prosecutor in the statement that says that they didn't have an intent. They wanted to create a scenario where, and he actually paints how controversial or how divided opinions are on the modus operandi that is used by Tiger IPI or any other investigative body.
So let me explain what the position of the law.
Sure.
In terms of such matters. Nana, as a civilian, looked at morality. I am looking at law and legal aspect of that.
Okay.
Now, all criminal institutions are supposed to work within the criminal laws of this country. Not so?
Sure.
So, for example, if Kwesi Nyantakyi or any other person, without more on their own, wouldn't have committed those crimes. You know that? Without more, they wouldn't have committed those crimes. Read section 6 of subsection 6 of
29.
It says that a person shall not be convicted for any action or commission of an action if he was unaware of circumstances which he believed in. Okay, let me read it so that you can properly...
Please read it.
Interpreting. Okay. A person shall not be convicted of having intentionally or negligently caused an event if, notwithstanding his act and the act of any person acting jointly with him, that event would not have occurred. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Would not have happened, but for the existence of some state of facts or the intervention of some other event. What is simply saying is that I set out, but for the entrapment, but for the inducement, this crime would not have been committed. What the criminal law says, what I have read, maybe I'm subject to other interpretation, is that in that case, I have not committed that offense, but for that thing. That is my understanding.
For that action.
Yes. Okay. Now, if you are dealing with another very strange aspect of interpretation of the law, in common law, where there is no specific law, you deal with the common law, other common law provisions. Now, the special prosecutor takes his authority from the Attorney General, right?
In Article 188.
188. The Attorney General deals with the common criminal code. You see, the criminal code. But if you read provisions of abetment, conspiracy.
Okay, 187, yeah.
That one is the right of the authority of the Attorney General. But if you read that, there are provisions in the criminal code that deals with conspiracy. That is two people agreeing to commit a crime.
Article 88.
That's conspiracy. But then where there's conspiracy, but I withdraw from the crime, its effect is also different. Where there's a crime and the two of us set out to go and maybe rob a bank, may God forbid, then in the process I shoot somebody. The murder will not be, the next community cannot be charged with murder. I will be held responsible for murder. What I'm saying in this particular instance is that I find it difficult why the special prosecutor did not put a nail on this evolving practice of entrapment, inducement, and other things, which does not find space in our criminal code. If you want to do something which is limited to the police, by the fact that you are a citizen, you did it. You are only a busybody. Now, the question about Kwesi Nyantakyi is very, very valid. You know, the question is very, very valid. What will be the effect of his prosecution? Edwiji, thank you for saying that he's under prosecution. Now, the special prosecutor is saying that that kind of influence peddling is not a crime. But maybe it's limited only to our jurisdiction. But in other places like the UK, others, some top ranking members of society have been prosecuted for influence peddling.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we're going to study the judgment or the ruling very well. In later time, come out strongly on that.
Now, the last question then I'll pose is, Mr. Akume, if we take a look at the president saying that I'll use the announced principle, and then all the announced principles that have been used, the individuals involved seem to go through clearing agencies. That should be a concern.
Well, yes, it's quite an interesting observation.
You remember the president saying that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I also agree with the announced principle.
You do agree with the announced principle?
Yes, I agree with the announced. My senior doesn't seem to agree. But like I said in my earlier submission, when you are presented with an opportunity and there's crime involved, whether you are entrapped or not, your morality should stand. Are you able to say that you set out to come to TV3 and then you went to the washroom to wash your hands, and unfortunately for you, you entered the female washroom. You lost your way, and then you found some naked woman there, and then you proceeded to attack her sexually. Are you going to say that, well, you didn't set out to go and attack anybody, you set out to come to TV3,
okay,
you just went to the washroom to wash your hands, and then you saw, and so the intention wasn't there. Crime is a crime.
Intent is intent.
Whether you didn't intend, I mean, if like the social prosecutor is saying, if you found a phone, somebody's phone lying down, of course you didn't intend to go and steal a phone. I mean, you didn't break into their car or into their bag or wherever the phone. You just found the phone lying down in the corridor. Somebody must have left the phone there unintentionally, and you took it. It wasn't your intention to steal, but the opportunity presented itself, and so by taking it, you've committed a crime, whether there was intention or not. For me, that's my view. Now, your question about the announced principle, goes to the comment that my brother was making. He says that the method is important, that those methods that can be described as entrapment should really be discouraged. But you journalists, you do a lot of undercover work.
Yes. And these are one of many methods.
Yes, and so this really is undercover. You suspect that you've heard that this person, I've heard that Roland Walker had set himself up as a recruitment agent for TV3, and then he collects money for that. And I'm a journalist, and I want to find out if it's true. I would send somebody with money to Roland. It's undercover. And and that really is the ANAS principle. And in many, many, many areas of the world, they call it sting operation.
Sting operation.
And it's
the crazy simulation
is led to the
arrest of
a lot of all kinds of
money
launderers, carjackers. It's a sting operation, and journalists, by the nature of your work, you get yourself involved in all of these things a lot of the time. So I have no problem with a sting operation. If you call it the ANAS principle, I have no problem at all with it. If you fall for it, you've committed a crime, whether you had intended or not.
Shouldn't the president be making the Attorney General take this up? Because the Attorney General is the one who is prosecuting.
Actually, there are efforts to concretize it in law. So, to avoid this kind of situation, the Special Prosecutor himself says that there's the need for that.
Some level of codification.
Yes. So I suspect that going forward, we would make sure that the legislation backs the method. Okay. And then people would be aware and be on guard when you're in a position of trust, whether you are an editor at TV3 or you are the boss of STC. Yes, you're in a position of trust, and you are supposed to uphold a certain morality. And now that morality will now be backed by law, so that we can have a more decent society.
All right.
You see, Roland,
I'll just move on to.
I was trying to explain the difference between sting operations and all other
undertaken by non-state actors.
Yes. It is only the police that is lawfully permitted.
For now.
Yes.
Within our jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction do that.
Yeah. So you're talking about jurisdictional issues.
In that case that Nana cited, that, Roland is doing something, then Nana is aware that Roland is committing the crime or is in the process of committing the crime. So he set out on him. Yeah. But in the case where Roland come and set his cameras, put a CCTV in your room and others, he set up and then comes to you to start a conversation, leading you to criminality, is what I'm talking about.
But if they need the evidence, how did they get the evidence? How did they get the evidence? You said
if you are not committing, you are not.
So as far as I'm related and in journalism, the materials or the content sometimes could be inadmissible in courts because of the way they were acquired.
Procured, yes.
But if they were procured and the content were for public good by way of intent, it is admissible in court.
Yes. Yeah. But where I set up to induce Nana Komia to commit crime, that's what I'm talking about.
The entrapment.
Entrapment. Yes. In that case, both of us have committed the crime. And I'm wondering why Kwesi Nyantakyi's trial, Anas is not part of it. Because if it is bribery, no, one person cannot commit bribery.
You know, Kissi Agyabin also served as a lawyer for his law firm.
Except who?
Tiger IPM. Says who? No, it's a matter of public record. Right?
Now, the point that you made about non-state actors, yes. Are journalists non-state actors?
I mean, as far as I know, with criminal investigation is the law enforcement agencies.
So if a journalist does undercover investigation
and uncovers a crime,
yes,
he cannot prosecute. Yeah, the journalist cannot. He has to put it before onward to them. Yeah. The police will look at the merits, the facts, and the ingredients in the crime and say, yes, Nana has committed the crime. Well, Sam has committed the crime.
So you're saying the gentleman, for morality purposes, was wrong?
I'm not talking about morality here. I'm talking about legality. You know, do you have a right to set somebody to commit a crime?
To set the person up to commit a crime.
You don't have that right.
But if you are committing the crime and we don't
if you are already committing the crime.
We don't see you.
No, if you are already committing the crime, Nana has set up a visa racketeering company as state transport. Nobody knows. You are going to buy a ticket, he calls you up. Journalist, when he gets this, he wants to investigate and bring out the facts.
But if
in the investigation, that's how come we do the undercover.
That's undercover. How can we do undercover.
But you don't set Nana Komia out to commit a crime.
But senior, listen. Before the journalist or anybody would go into the trouble of setting you up, it means they have suspicion.
Yes.
Not always. Not always.
There's suspicion.
Brother, how would they come to you?
So the suspicion.
That's always the suspicion.
The suspicion is confirmed, but you need further and better particulars to prove that the actions that are taken by the individual in public office in pursuant of. So in order for you to certify or ascertain whether those actions indeed are undertaken, that's when the simulation is undertaken.
Yes, when you have the suspicion.
Undercover. We call it undercover.
You have the suspicion that I'm committing a crime.
Right.
Yeah. In this instance, setting a company in Ghana, where does the criminality start? And you see, you talk about a woman somebody going to a woman, female.
No, but that's another matter.
Intention is not a journey. it can be picked at any point. Sometimes even you want to have whatever you with your wife, he can withdraw her consent.
Okay, but you know, before I would send somebody to Mr. Walker, I might have had a complaint that this is what Mr. Walker is doing. He's taking money and using it to influence employment at TV3. Because if I haven't heard anything, I have no suspicion.
Right.
You're not going to spend resources.
So what did Tiger here that they were going to set a company and that they were going to bribe and then whatever it was going
I'm saying before a journalist will do that, they have suspicion that this is the conduct that you are engaging. Otherwise, the question is, why would they choose you? Of all the people, why would they choose you and invest resources and so on? So if the law is not clear, and they are going to see how they can let the law back it.
Okay.
I'm wondering how they can...
Now, I'll send this one by Kofi. Kofi says, integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. That's C.A. Lewis. At the end of the day, we're also told that it's not about morality. It's about what the law says.
Back in the
Mr. Komia, so Saturday we're going for the polls.
Yes.
I mean, the whole country is eagerly waiting for who the MPP will be electing. I'm told, and you confirmed that you are in the camp of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Yes.
Okay. And Kennedy Japan has been making some very damning statements. Please, do you have his latest? Kennedy Japan.
Oh, are you asking me? I thought you were going to show something.
Yes. So well, let's play that one. So I'll ask one or two of Mr. Komia.
$800 million. If he doesn't know, you should ask Mr.
Oh, they offered.
They offered $800 million.
Not even 500.
No. Says I know Canada, and I'm saying they see from Ghana first. Namono 2016, I'm going to pickups. And then you owe me $800 million. But I have not. I have not.
I don't want to see by Jesus can.
Mary, I won't hear me say, let's drop the now. What the November 4th? Yeah, what do you say? Yeah, person would tempt me as a Mecca BB, no Marco K. But they offered $800 million. Almost friend, Mr. Pobizu. On them in Casana, me see from $800 million. And I'm saying, yeah. Ghana, who don't mean yet. Now the mean.
Time FM.
Because Jesus is going now, Ghana, watch the woman. Mean yet. I've not done it. Besides that, I'm painful. I think me a friend a pamicho. Some me vice president. They say, what do me a vice president cry? Oma catch him, please. Who vice president cry on tomorrow? Say, you know, we lead Ghana. Now, we must serve under this government. Who don't buy him? And why should I even step down near co-opposition? And you mean, and you mean a different person who. Se mutu nya Ghana for nipa be 10 ti second Japan me wiamanum ka Ghana be konanim.
Is there if to that Mr. Komia, you say your camp, okay, we didn't say your camp, but
yeah,
money 800 million. These are serious matters.
Well, it's unfortunate that the NPP primaries for the flag bearership has degenerated to this extent. And all of these serious allegations have been made in an attempt to impugn people's integrity with no shred of evidence. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's unfortunate that it has degenerated to this extent. Like you said, nobody's name was mentioned in the accusation that you just showed. So it could be anybody, but the expectation would be that that accusation will be referring to the vice president. Now, in the first place, the sums of monies that have been mentioned, the $800 million for somebody to step down, it doesn't sound credible at all.
You mean you are dismissing it?
Oh, absolutely. Indeed, the Vice President's office has issued a statement.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've seen it. Let me read it. It has come to the attention of the Bawumia campaign that a fellow contender in the NPP flag bearer has alleged that he was offered a colossal 800 million to step down from the presidential primary. Now, the Bawumia campaign wishes to respond as follows. The Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, has never met privately with Kennedy Agyapong since he entered into the race. So since Kennedy Agyapong entered into the race, the Vice President has never met him privately to discuss anything. The Vice President has never instructed anybody to meet with Kennedy Agyapong or his assigns to negotiate anything in respect of this contest. The Vice President and his team consider this 800 million claim as absolutely ridiculous. And it shows gross disregard for the intelligence of Ghanaians. Dr. Bawumia has always been confident, but by the grace of God, he will win these flag bearer elections. And he has never entertained any wish for anybody to step down from the contest. It is instructive that the latest allegation by Kennedy Agyapong is a rehash of a similar allegation he made about a month ago, claiming, as usual, without any proof, that he was offered money to step down as running mate to Dr. Bawumia. Now, this is a clear denial. He hasn't mentioned the Vice President, but because the Vice President is one of the contenders, by association, he can be thought of being the person who's being referred to. It could also be anybody. It could be any of the other contenders. You know, this kind of allegations against your co-aspirants without any proof whatsoever is damaging to the campaign, the campaign itself. Look, there's another allegation made by my good friend, a very prominent member of the Bawumia team, Honorable Opari Ansah, that he had also been approached by people in Kennedy Agyapong's team that they would have their man is willing to step down if some guarantees about contracts are made to him. Now, which is the truth? And the kind of monies that have been mentioned in the second instance that I mentioned, they said there's a demand for $500 million worth of contracts. And in that same...
All from Ghana.
It's amazing.
We're collapsing the country.
You know, and in that same accusation, the same Mr. Opombio was mentioned. The same Opombio that Kennedy Agyapong is mentioned, that the offer was made through Opombio. I don't know if in law there can be some compelling, trigger some legal investigation as to...
Professor Adair made a comment on TV3. He was sent to Yoko. So why don't you drag...
What did he say?
About the money that's demanded before contract.
Oh, no, he hasn't been sent to Yoko. He's been sent
the roads minister as petition.
Petition, yes. So it will be fantastic. But you see, in this particular case, no person has been mentioned, like I'm saying. But I would love a scenario where a petition will be made. If somebody's name was mentioned, a person will petition and say, look, let's investigate this matter. Or anybody can take it up, a private citizen or a journalist can take it up and say, this particular person has been mentioned as engaging in negotiations that are immoral, illegal, and has to investigate. Because the only name that has been mentioned in all of this is Mr. Opombio. He's been mentioned by Opari Ansah as negotiating for $500 million worth of contracts. And he's also been mentioned by Kennedy Agyapong as the person that... So at least we have a name. And I don't know My senior brother is a lawyer. But it's something that I would wish that we just don't let it lie in the domain of accusations and denials and counter accusations.
Okay.
Happily for me, once the elections will be coming on this Saturday.
Yes.
I have no doubt that the way the vice president has conducted himself over the years, and also particularly in this campaign, very decent campaign, talks about his vision, what he has for the delegates. He's conducted himself so well, conducted his brand in a way. We're having a discussion.
It's a discussion.
Yes. They fear him all, and if you allow me, I'll show you why they fear him, but that's another matter. I believe that on Saturday, he would win resoundingly.
He will win
resoundingly.
Resoundingly.
And I'm hoping, TV3 Media General, with your reputation, I'm sure you will do minute by minute, back to back.
Of course. We'll call the election command center.
And then all Ghanaians will see what will happen on Saturday.
Why do you think that so far, Nana Akufo, Kennedy Japan has not mentioned the vice president, but each time he mentions something about, somebody trying to bribe him or overtures made to him, then the vice president's campaign team take it so serious?
See, Roland, if I ever thought that the front runners of the NPP will be at this level, the front runners of this party, NPP, I am shocked. And I'm happy like Nana Akufo that by Saturday, all this will be over. Because within this period, we have learned of inter-party brutalities. Somebody's eye being pointed and all those. Within this period, we have learned of persons being mentioned for unresolved crimes. I am referring to one of their flag bearers saying that, look, the IGP and the police council knows who killed Anas. Right?
You mean Ahmed Swale?
Yeah, Ahmed Swale. This has been put out there, but not a mean person, but a flag bearer.
Aspirant.
Well, it's a flag bearer by their conclusions, So calling me aspirant. 2 steps away from becoming the president of this country. Not so. He says that, I know who killed Ahmed Swale, and nobody's investigating it. Beside this, the current one is bribery. Huge sums of bribery in allegations. Who told you that allegations made on political platforms are different from allegations made in criminal law? Who told you that?
Well, they are different. You have to prove.
When you do that in criminal law, you have to prove. When you do that in politics, you have to prove.
adduce evidence.
Evidence to prove what you are saying. So what I'm saying is that, look, today I am repeating the question. Who killed Ahmed Swale? Because as a young man coming up, his life could not have been terminated by who? An unknown person. We need to find out who did that. Now today, they have also raised the question of $800 million. Dollars. Ro, you know what $800 million will mean to this economy now? Never mind the other allegations that...
What would they mean? Because our debt level, we racked up debt.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
$800
million.
Over $400 billion. But
well, that doesn't mean that even if you have money, some small amount will be helpful. But $800 million is a lot of money.
Okay.
And these accusations have been thrown out there, no investigations. Somebody says that $1 million for road contractors, he's going to use ECO. $1 million, he's going to use ECO. $800 million they have not disqualified those who are making it, or they have not sanctioned anybody. So, what does the MPP present? What does the MPP present? Nana, you say we are afraid of Dr. Bawumia. Yes, we are afraid of him, and you know why? We are afraid that such a person who says good morning in the afternoon and says good evening in the morning is being foisted on us. That's what we are afraid of. And sometimes I say, Nana Kumiepa, where did he come from retirement to join this group? Nana, $800 million. I don't have the intention of even thinking about that. But this must be investigated. On Saturday, this matter would come to an end. But I'm asking, there are 4 contestants, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes. So why is it that it's the Bawumia camp who has taken it upon itself to respond?
Even though no name has been mentioned.
No name has been mentioned. Why have they taken it upon themselves to respond?
Why do you say that?
Why? Roland, if you are sitting here, I make an allegation that does not concern you, would you respond? Would you respond? The amount of bribery and corruption taking place in the MPP primaries is legendary. But after all those things done, then they will come and poor taxpayers will be made to look for money to pay for those bribery and corruption. That is the problem we are going to face. I know that if Bawumia does not win by 95%, then there's something wrong. Because the whole establishment is set up for that purpose.
So it's a Bawumia's election?
It's a Bawumia's election. Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay. How do we bring Mr. Ohini Ejiapong to book, if he has to be at all?
Well,
because it looks like the government is afraid of him.
Listen, like my brother is saying, these allegations are serious. So if he is invited so that we can get to the bottom of it,
yes,
I will be happy. Because these allegations are serious. There's sums of money involved.
And including the medal.
Now, but my senior brother here couldn't resist some propaganda.
What is the propaganda?
Which is totally not necessary.
Which one is that?
He says that Bawumia is being set up to win.
Oh, yes.
And so because of that, he expects...
He says Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the establishment candidate.
Whatever it is. He says he's been set up to win.
Yeah.
And so he expects Bawumia to get
95%.
95%. Well, I'll be happy if Bawumia gets 95%.
Why?
But when you say it's been set up to win, you are insulting the integrity of the over 200,000 delegates who are going to vote. And you shouldn't be doing that. Number 2, you know, when you are the front runner.
Who is the front runner in this race?
Bawumia. When you are the front runner, you are the front runner. You know, people will say all sorts of things, but you are the front runner. Because you don't have time. John Mahama, he got about 90%. Huh? His boss, his candidate. John Mahama got about 90%. Is it because he's been set up to win?
You mean,
we hear of...
he was accused of giving 800 million... I don't understand.
No, I'm saying that he says he's been set up, Bawumia has been set up, so you get 90. I'm saying John Mahama got 90. So was John Mahama set up to win?
Okay.
Because you can cite all those. We hear of people who were dismissed because they sold forms to somebody wanted to contest Mahama.
Who?
At your own party office.
Which office?
At your own party office.
Which office?
I'll get you the name.
Which office?
And then he goes on to say...
Which office?
Roland,
are you letting him get away with
the amount of bribery?
Listen,
he says amount of... In your head office. I'll get you the name. The man just passed recently. But you are aware of it. Some man who sold forms to somebody. And you will say, why did he sell the forms and he was dismissed? You people reported it. If you are not aware. Then he says that amount of bribery and corruption. No evidence. No. Because he's my senior brother. I don't want to use certain words. But when you come here and say the amount of bribery and corruption, Not a shred. Not a shred.
Showing delegates videos where
I am surprised about my brother,
the top echelons of the delegates were being given money.
I am surprised about
this morning. I didn't see the video, but I saw that you were sharing.
Did you see the videos?
Yes, we did.
But there was a video in which he was showing the delegates.
Now, Roland, did you see the video he was showing? Now, Roland, just think about it for 2 seconds.
You've seen the video yourself, right?
No, how can I? You are showing it to people sitting there. Yes. So how can I see? You yourself, you haven't seen. But no, think about it for 2 seconds. I mean, as a reasonable human being. If you have evidence, proper evidence, that your main opponent is engaged in activity like this, are you going to be showing it to people quietly? Is that what you do? If you have evidence that your main opponent is engaged in this activity,
the game is good.
Then you go and show people.
So you're saying Kenny Japan is lying?
Oh, I'm saying that as a reasonable person, is that what you do? You have evidence. I'm contesting my senior brother here, and I have evidence that he's engaged in bribery. Then I have video and I'm showing it to people.
Thank you very much.
When you accuse,
and then he says
Nana Komia is SCC boss, former member of parliament, former minister. He is also in the DMB possible 2024 team. And then also Ambassador Sampi Yali. And thank you also for passing through. You say you're watching us from Bombela, that's Sambian David. Brakweku is saying that if you mean there was no intent or what, the video we saw was not a movie scene. And then we also have this one for Brimpon. Brimpon says that we should think of the people of Ghana. In the UAE, fuel has been reduced. There's cash out though. We're taking a break. We'll be right back with more.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a